Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. I am Gunnar Eos, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. We are here with a full house tonight. We got BlankaKong, Mr. Esoteric, Mr. Hotto Wolf, and Mr. Zeta Kaiser. And the topic for tonight is going to be a sort of relevant one. As of the filming of this episode, the game is pretty much almost here, and it's going to be there you go, tomorrow. And this topic, if you guys haven't already guessed it, is the Bayonetta voice actress controversy. So I'm just gonna give a quick rundown of what's happened and then where we are, and we're gonna talk about this particular instance. We're gonna talk about voice acting, the voice acting industry as a whole in relation to video games. What do we think about it? So on and so forth. So just to start, a couple weeks ago, the I guess now former lead voice actress for Bayonetta from the Bayonetta franchise, Helena Taylor, came out with a huge Twitter monger, I think they call a thread, a huge Twitter thread.
Yeah, twit longer.
There you go, twit longer. I don't use that cancer. So yeah, a rant, essentially an online rant, where she stated that she was paid or she was offered a insulting, in her words, $4,000 to voice in entirety, again, these are her words, the role of Bayonetta in the upcoming Bayonetta 3. So she basically put it out there that she's breaking NDA to say this, she doesn't care, and that she feels that $4,000 for voicing the main character in a video game of a quote unquote $450 million franchise, I use quotations because we'll get into that, is insulting and that she is worth more money. So she does this 2 weeks before the game release. And she asks point blank fans of Bayonetta, if you care about people, if you care about what people are worth, yada, yada, to boycott the game. She asks for a boycott of the game. Now, she doesn't ask for it to go into her checking account. She asked that if you felt this way, boycott the game and give the $60 that you would have given Nintendo and Platinum to a charity. So, she couldn't be that bad and say, hey, you should give it to me. No, she said give it to a charity. But she asked for a point blank boycotting of the game. Okay, so she drops that bombshell. The producer of Platinum Games, he has apparently a thing on Twitter where he'll ban people for anything. It's weird. Point is, people were going to him for like clarification. He was banning people, so that kind of looks suspect on his part because now you have the head of Platinum Games banning people for bringing up this situation. Why is the main character of I don't want to say, I'll say a popular franchise, a small but popular franchise. Why is she getting $4,000 to voice an entire game? Okay, so fast forward a little bit. There's a Bloomberg article that comes out done by Jason Schreier. For those who don't know who Jason Schreier is, he's kind of a well-known video game journalist, and I know, haha, journalist. But yeah, I get it. But he has a track record of blowing up and exposing big stories. He's the one that dropped the story about Anthem and its horrid history. He's the one that dropped the stuff about Activision Blizzard, or at Blizzard specifically. So he has a track record of his sources being reliable, and usually 9 times out of 10 when he puts something out there, it turns out to be more or less true. So him in his Bloomberg article basically said that his sources told him that that's not true. She wasn't paid $4,000. She was initially offered $10,000 to voice the entire game. She rejected it. Platinum came back to her with another offer of $15,000. So they upped it by $5,000. She said no. So they said, cool. And she didn't hear from them for 11 months. Oh, sorry. No. Then supposedly she asked for 6 figures and royalties. or residuals. Sorry, residuals.
Yeah, same
Basically,
difference.
okay. I know it's like one's Hollywood and one's Basically, for those that don't know, residuals. She would get another sum of money after the game, let's say, sells 1 million copies. She'll get a cut of that. So that was her final offer. Platinum Games said, "Cool story, bro," and didn't get back to her. So obviously they hired the new voice actress that they have now, and they came back to her one last time and said, "We're gonna, if you would like to, we'll give you $4,000, which is a union rate, is the bare minimum that a voice actress that's part of a union can be paid for a day of work, to cameo a character in Bayonetta, and that's it." That is the story she brought to Twitter. She never mentioned the 10K. She never mentioned the 15K. She made it seem like the first offer was 4K. So once that Bloomberg article dropped, she took to Twitter again and said, "No, that's slanderous. That's I don't." And she tried to deny it, but then as the Twitter thread kept going, she basically admitted that yes, she was offered 10,000. She said no. She was offered 15K. She said no. She said she didn't ask for the $250,000 that the internet was floating around, but she didn't specify how much. She didn't deny that she asked for six figures, but she did deny that it was specifically 250,000 and residuals. So basically, she admitted that yes, she lied by omission, that she started off with her being offered $4,000 when she was in fact offered a grand total of 15,000 to voice the game. So, needless to say, the internet did not take kindly for that, seeing as she was pushing for a boycott. She was bad mouthing the new actress for Bayonetta, saying that she's not Bayonetta, she'll never be Bayonetta, she doesn't have a right to sign anything as Bayonetta, I'm Bayonetta. Some very off the wall takes. And now it's proven she lied by omission. She still lied. Her credibility is shot to shit. She broke NDA, which means she is no longer trusted in the industry. Legal action could be brought against her because she broke a binding legal contract. And she's been exposed as a liar. And now, even though she was so adamant that she loves Bayonetta and loves the franchise, now she wants to put it all behind her and focus on her theater work. So that was kind of the nitty gritty of the situation. That's where we are now. It's been found out she lied. She confirmed herself that the 4K was not the initial offer that she made it out to be in her first post. And yeah, she asked for a boycott of a game 2 weeks before it came out. So that's kind of the whole gist of it. So what we're going to do is I leave the floor open after this. And then we're going to talk about, how do we feel about voice acting in video games? Does that mean anything to us? Do we not give a shit? As long as the game runs, I don't care. Do you think voice actors should be paid more? We'll get the ball rolling on that. But everything you guys heard, that's the gist of it. Opinions.
I think Zeta has a lot to say, and I don't know if he wants to go first or last, but he's currently muted, so I'll go. Wow, there's a lot of details I didn't know. I just heard that she was upset with the pay rate, but I didn't have any numbers. And to ask for six figures, I don't know much about voice actors and how much they get paid, or I don't know much about any of that stuff.
It doesn't seem like it's too far off though for what she asked for what they get paid.
So can you give me 2 or 3 examples of voice actors who got paid six figures for a role in a video game?
I wouldn't say that. I would say she's not far from it because from what I'm researching here, and this is just the internet, the interwebs, a video game voice actor can make 90,000, around 90,000 a year. So if it takes 11 months to, complete the Bayonetta voice acting, If she's asking for 6 figures, she's asking for more, but not by a lot per se.
So let's be clear though. We've never developed any video games or anything like that, but it don't take no 11 months to get the voice work done for a game.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how long it takes for normal voice work to get done.
So, from my understanding, when I know this relates to kind of Hollywood films, but I'm pretty sure it relates to if they were to say, okay, how to voice a character, these are your lines. I'm gonna need you for 4 sessions.
Okay.
And you come in for those 4 sessions. After that, your part in the video game is over. Like they have the lines they need from you. It's all recorded, and you get paid. If you're a union worker, you get paid per session. The minimum they can pay you is $4,000. That's what she was talking about, the $4,000, and that means for 4 hours of work. So literally $1,000 an hour, and you are paid for that full 4 hours, regardless if you were there for 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, 15 minutes. They have to pay you the full 4 hours. So if I'm paying you for 4 sessions of work, 4 hours, even if I don't need you for the whole 4 hours, you are paid $4,000 for those 4 hours of work. If it's a union job, guaranteed. And after that, you as the voice actor, you move on. You'll be credited, obviously, but your work is done. So they usually get the voicing out of the way because it's the easiest and quickest thing to do.
Yeah, that's like animation. Animation, the voice acting is usually done first before animation.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's same thing with like Hollywood movies, animated Japanese animation, Western animation.
So
all right. Go back to Kong. You can finish your point. Go on. Yeah.
I don't even know what to say, man. Like this is some new level entitlement shit. Like 10 to 15 grand to do. I mean, what I'd assume is maybe a month of work, right? Like in a month, you work maybe twice a week, probably. Like I don't know how extensive the script is for this game. Bayonetta games are typically like 12 to 18 hours long, maybe, and
they're not known for their gripping 3-hour-long monologues.
Right.
Yeah,
So like
at best it's like
it's usually
2
like
hours.
15 minutes total of cuts, like of her talking for the most part, from what I
and then grunts.
recall.
Just like I need you to film grunts for
just like general sound effects,
which
for
are repetitive.
combat, which is like, okay, I need you to grunt 10 different times, and then we'll have this library of grunts, and then we'll sprinkle it as we need it. That sounds like I'd take that shit. I take the $4,000, like $4,000 for a day, and I'm just talking into a mic, like that. But that's just me, right? I don't know anything about that industry. But for her to basically like not tell the full story and then ask the fan base to boycott the game, to weaponize the fan base basically as revenge, is pretty disgusting. Especially considering the fact that game developers, like there are some shitty developers out there, but there are definitely developers who put a lot of work, heart and soul into these games, and it takes them years to produce this product, whereas her part is a weekend, it's a cup of coffee, right? And it's like, for her to try to destroy all of that is insane to me. And she deserves any repercussions that come with her actions. She deserves it. And for her to flee, at least I'm basing everything off of what you're telling me and what this article says. For her to flee and like, oh, let's just pretend like it never happened, is like typical behavior of a person like that. So,
typical behavior of a person who doesn't know how to hold themselves accountable.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
Be grateful. Like, not everybody can do voice work. I know a lot of people who would love to do that for a living and would love to take, $4,000 a session. Are you kidding me? Like, that's great. And for her to shit on that, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to cut you off, Wolf. Well, here's what I would like to say about this whole deal. Like, if you want to request more pay, if you feel like you're worth more than what you're being offered, then in my opinion, it's absolutely fine to negotiate. There's no issues with that. Yeah, I know people like us would be okay with the $4,000 alone, even though that wasn't the first offer. But with her, who has, according to her, a track record, I don't really keep up with names like that. I just know her solely from Bayonetta. Um, if she feels, and if anybody follows her track record of the different characters she voiced, if she requested more money,
Well, okay, so I can answer that question for you.
okay,
As far as voice acting work goes, she hasn't done a lot. She's mainly done Bayonetta and Bayonetta. The last thing she was accredited with was Bayonetta in Smash.
okay,
So
okay.
he's just
So,
Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so thank you, Gunnar, for confirming that. Now that we know that all she's ever done was Bayonetta, no matter how delusional she is in regards to her track record of being a voice actress, it's okay for her to request more money. Now, the issue that I have is her lying about said negotiations, and again, as Kong said, using the fan base of Bayonetta to go at the company and kind of diminish their reputation. That's garbage. That's very unethical. That is crazy. Yeah, I have no issues with her fighting for her salary, but the way she went about it, her omission of guilt within the situation where they offered her 10 grand at first, and then I don't know many companies that are like really like gracious with their offer and gave her an extra 5. And then when she declined both, they was like, okay, we're gonna give you a 4 grand just to appear. So that's even less work than what she should have done. That's very unfair. That's very ridiculous. And I definitely hope she absolutely gets the repercussions of her actions, because if people did believe her, she could have crippled the company. Well, not really, but she would have definitely caused them to lose a lot of sales if the truth didn't come out. Um,
Well, it would have
and
been slander against Platinum. It's like, oh, well, look at Platinum Games. They don't pay their people a living wage. Last Platinum game I buy, that probably was a good couple people.
yeah,
Yep.
it would have been quite a few. I was hoping that I would have gotten a collector's edition off of it. But
Aiming for the
unfortunately,
scraps.
listen. Like, I was okay with her complaining about her pay, but again, if companies don't accept your offer, then go somewhere else. They don't have to. They don't have to. You know, pay you what you want. They give you an offer, you say yes or no, and they'll find someone else who's going to take the role. That is it. But, for you to go above and beyond and slander the company, that's messed up. That's definitely entitlement. And in the beginning, when the story first broke, I was all for her fighting for her wage and whatnot. I wasn't with her on telling people to boycott the game, because I feel like that's a personal matter between you and the company. If they're not giving you enough money, then you need to like speak with your delegate, or like your shop steward, because I believe she's in a union. I think that's what they refer to.
Well, that
She's
game,
not.
yeah, she's not. But the game is union work, so it's a union game, which means they have to abide by
Union rules.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so with that being said, with the minimum being 4 grand, and they started off with 10, raised it to 15, and she still said no. And your record is only the voice acting that you did for the company that practically put you on. They're the ones, they're the reason why a lot of people know you now. Like, okay, like, oh, I'm a well-known actress.
She's
Okay, I did
she's well
Bayonetta 1.
known. She's well known because Bayonetta is such a successful character. I mean, She did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 content in video games, and they're all Bayonetta. She did Valkyrie Profile, Covenant of the Plume. Her character was Fiona.
Oh wow,
Dragon
okay, I didn't
Age
know that.
Dragon Age was various characters. Pirates of the Caribbean 3, she was a prostitute. She was a voiceover for a prostitute. Singapore citizen, Cockney peasant woman. That's what it says here, anyways, in her bio. Everything else, Smash Brothers Ultimate, Anarchy Reigns. Bayonetta was in Anarchy Reigns.
Yeah,
Okay,
she was a DLC character.
Yeah, not the
sure.
original one, because the original one was Wii, but yeah. Was it
Okay.
Wii? No, that's Mad World. Anyways,
That's Mad World. Anarchy Reigns was PlayStation,
fighting
I
game
think.
of that.
PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smash Brothers 4, Bayonetta 1, Bayonetta 2, and then Bayonetta the animated movie.
Yes,
She
the
was,
anime as well.
yeah, she's just been Bayonetta. So I feel like she should have had a little more, like for her to make that such a heavy argument, she should have had more on her plate. We're not talking about, other video game voice actors that plays multiple, like for instance, female Laura Bailey.
Whoop, whoop.
This woman
We just talked about that
redefined
before we
Chun-Li.
started.
Redefined Chun-Li. She's in shit ton of animes,
Yep.
shit ton of video games. She could ask
Well,
for 20K.
If you look
act
at
for 30K.
the new Bayonetta, which is Jennifer Hale, she was female Commander Shepard. That's where I know her, and her list is long.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at her list now. Like, this lady, she can ask for a little bit more. I think I understand where she's coming from, where it's like, Bayonetta is what really, she started that character because a video game character's voice can help define or emphasize how powerful a video game character can seem within the content of their own universe. I admit that. I love the British accent that Bayonetta has. I love that. So when she came out and me looking at original marketing for Bayonetta, just hearing her character lines was like, oh, this character is just, it stood out to me even more. Oh my gosh, she was Jean Grey for pretty much every Marvel video game.
Yeah,
Anyway,
she Jennifer Hale has done a lot.
Yeah.
I believe she was also, I think
Mhm.
she also played a Samus too. And I think
So-
she was also in Legend of Korra, and Last Airbender. I don't know who she was.
Either way,
and
the-
yeah.
right. Either way, I understand that she feels like, this is her character. This is her personification of that character. So she wants more. I can sympathize with her on that. But I think she went about the whole situation wrong. I think even if she didn't want to do the role for 15,000, she should have just done. I mean, you can't really tell someone to settle because it's in their profession, right? Like, we all 5 of us here have different professions, so all 5 of us knows what we should get paid based on our role within that profession. I'm not a voice actor, so I don't know what she should have gotten paid or what she could have gotten paid compared to someone who's, just as successful or versus someone who's just starting out. I don't know if they tried to lowball her with 15,000. I don't know if they tried to, give her a little extra edge with 15,000 because I'm not in that profession. 4,000 sounds like a lot for us because we don't make $4,000 for 4 hours. Right? So it's like, that's why $4,000 sounds a lot to us, but to her and other people in her profession, $4,000 is a little bit to them. I would assume so,
Well,
because that's the base rate. But
here's my question. Sorry to cut you off, Wolf, but here's my question in regards to this. What did she make in the prior Bayonettas? Because if
I was trying to find that to make a comparison. I can't find that information.
Well, she probably wouldn't have said it because she would have been under NDA for those games, and discussing and like voicing your pay is probably part of the NDA ways. You don't talk about how much you got paid.
I think she shot herself in the foot.
Oh yeah,
I really do feel like she shot herself in
She
the
thought
foot.
she was way more important than she actually was, and she
Mhm.
found out real quick that there are more fish in the sea, and they
Mhm.
will get another fish if they have to.
Yeah, of course. So I guess it's now so Zeta, you can now go in and rip her apart. I'll sit and listen.
Why I gotta? You know what? You know what? No, I'm going heel turn. I think she deserves more money. No, I'm not. Well, like when I was supposed to Mr. Esoteric before this started, I was saying that well, even before that, when this whole broke, I didn't believe her because as I told Mr. Esoteric before this started, like if your default is I'm going to go on social media and say a thing, I just by default I don't believe you. I just assume that you're already lying because I don't know why that would be your immediate response is to jump to social media and say, "Hey, these people are doing a thing to me,"
I
and
say
not
it's
give
because
all the
it's the
details.
I say because it's the fastest way to hurt a company's wallet.
Oh, obviously it's the fastest way to hurt, but if you want genuine help, I just don't believe you when you say I'm gonna go when you do social media first. Like I said before we started, the example I gave was like Scarlett Johansson when Black Widow came out. She didn't go on Twitter to complain.
Nah, she went to
It
a
came
lawyer.
out. Yeah, she went to a lawyer and be like, I feel these people screwed me out of my money and
Oh
I
yeah, I
want to bring
forgot
legal
about
action
that. Yeah.
against Disney because this was
Mhm.
our contract, this was the deal, this is what I feel I would have been made, but they made this movie go directly to Disney Plus. So I believe Scarlett Johansson because like, all right, she was like, nah, y'all fucking with my money. I want what I feel like I am owed. This lady was like, I'm going to go to Twitter. I'm going to make this video, boycott this game because reasons. And I don't believe you. I don't believe you when you do that because I'm like, all right, what are you hiding? What are you not saying? Because
Oh.
clearly you're leaving something out. And like he asked, like, what was the going rate? That's what I said. This is being ignored because a lot of people were on her side in the beginning because people like to make the emotional play first, which I hate. I really hate it. I wish people would stop doing that. They just heard her complain and they're just like, all right, the corporation is evil. So obviously they're screwing her over and they don't take anything else into consideration. Like, what is the normal rate? How long is she really doing work for? Because she's, I know you use that we all have our jobs and stuff, but at the end of the day, voice acting is a gig. It's not a job. It is, I mean, it is a job, but it is a gig. Like, it's like being a musician. You get
Yeah.
paid whatever
She's an
is.
entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's whatever you're working at. That's what people are willing to pay you. That's it. Like saying that, oh, I should have a living wage. Like you don't work for Platinum Games. You work like you're a
For
temp.
yourself.
Yourself.
Yeah, you work for yourself. You're basically a temp.
At the
Yeah, you're
moment.
for
You're
hire.
hired at the moment, yeah.
Like once Bayonetta is over, that's it. Like you're not still there at the Platinum building.
Mhm.
Like when we're making Wonderful 101, like this doesn't involve you unless we make a Bayonetta hero. When we was making Babylon's Fall, like you play no role in this. Like you're only here for when we need you to play Bayonetta, and Bayonetta is not it's not an Otome game. It's not a visual novel. It's an action game. So even then, like the amount of work that she's putting in, it's maybe 2 hours worth in total of like in-game cutscenes of her like actually speaking. So it's not like the other lady where it's Mass Effect where there's like there's lots of lines, there's a lot of dialogue options, there's a lot of other stuff that goes in between that. Like her actual role is just it's small. It really is. Like I know some people say like voice acting can change things, but it's still a very small role in like the grand scheme of a video game. Like
Yeah,
it
within the
doesn't matter.
gears of like, you having the developers, you have the programmers, you have the modelers. It's definitely the more like easier role to tackle within that realm. I wouldn't like diminish it in terms of like
Oh, I'm gonna diminish
finances,
it.
monetary assets.
I honestly,
I'm gonna diminish it because this
hard for
only
me.
applies if it's in English. Like there is a Japanese Bayonetta. I don't know if there's other languages. Like she only plays a role for us because we speak English. Like
I
if
don't.
there's a German Bayonetta, she means nothing. If there's a Japanese, she means nothing.
Oh, just to
I
clarify
don't.
that, just for the audience, There is no Japanese Bayonetta because Bayonetta's done the same way Resident Evil's done. It's done in English, and the Japanese get the subbed version. So it's one of those weird games where it's
Reverse.
yeah, it's done only in English.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, continue.
So I don't want to diminish anybody's profession in
Yeah.
general. Like I said again, that's why I went with the notion of, okay, well, maybe $4,000 is not a lot compared to what other people can make within that business or that type of industry. It's like, if you're in a profession, if you're a doctor, and a doctor's average salary is 400,000, and then but for some reason you're making 100,000, you're gonna feel some way because you know that as a doctor you should be making 400,000 a year, but you're only making 100,000. However, for me, in my personal profession, if I made 100,000 a year, I'd be good. I would be good, but that's because I'm not in that profession to know what my worth is. So I think that's the perspective that we're losing.
Comparison, because while you guys were talking, I was looking some stuff up.
Thank
you guys said, no problem. Or bless you. I don't know if you were thinking. So
I was
okay.
thanking you because this whole voice acting thing is so weird. It's like you make a lot of money, but you're not making a lot of money. You're worth this much, but you're not really worth this much.
So it goes back to what Zeta was saying, like it's a gig type thing. It's not a 9 to 5 kind of deal.
No.
The only jobs that you make, because according to the numbers that I've been given, $4,000 for one session, it's 4 hours. Basically $1,000 an hour.
An hour.
The only people who make that kind of money are corporate lawyers, surgeons, high-end prostitutes, like high-end IT jobs, high-end software engineers. It's like you're none of these things. You're none of these things, right? Like, again, it is a pleasure to be able to do art, because voice acting is an art form, to do art and get paid well. And so, with that being said, she doesn't have the credentials of a corporate lawyer. She doesn't have the credentials of anybody in a medical
field. That's right? What I'm saying is,
so get fucked. Like, I don't care about your feelings, and you don't deserve it. And that's it.
That part, the what she's facing now, I don't disagree with at all. But what I don't blame her for doing is trying to negotiate her pay.
That's fine.
I don't think she did it the right way.
Yeah,
nobody's no, even then, what she did was right, because she went to them. That was enough, and then she went directly to the producers, like, "Hey, I want more." I don't know how she worded it. So she did everything right. Everything was right up until the point
until she went to Twitter.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
And that's the issue that I have with her.
Or even then, even before that, it would be up until when she when 15,000 wasn't enough, because she already had it in her mind that she deserved residuals and a 6-figure, and it's
that's perfect. But that's perfectly fine. No
that's
matter
not
how.
fine.
Listen,
that's not fine.
No matter how
internally for her, it could be fine, but that's not fine. You can't say I want the salary of the game.
You can say whatever the hell you want. That doesn't mean that you're granted it. What I'm saying is, it's okay for her to feel however she wants when it comes to negotiating her salary. I'm not saying that she should automatically receive it, but if she feels like she wants $250,000 for her work, then that's her. That's how she feels. It's not a realistic number based upon, the metrics that we're looking at.
But she can't just say that then. That's not like,
let's call it
I want $1 million,
yeah.
but that doesn't mean like I could just be over here, like, yo, I demand $1 million. Like,
let's call it
people want whatever she wants. She got to be realistic.
She was trying to turn this into a fucking, this is some lazy shit. Like, I want to turn this one gig into something that's going to continue to pay me because I don't want to work.
That's what I'm saying. She wants, like, once this is over, you're not part of Platinum Games.
It's either that what BlankaKong said, that she just wanted to use Bayonetta to bank out and not need to do anything else. Maybe focus on her theater work, which could be iffy, but at least she has Bayonetta to fall back on, and she knows she's getting paid for Bayonetta, so she's not financially worried if theater doesn't work. Or B, her head was so far up her ass because her voice helped make Bayonetta the character that Bayonetta is now, that she thought she would be irreplaceable.
I kind of lean towards towards that one. I think she
That's what I
thought
think too.
he was hot shit.
You know,
And
it's one of the
Bayonetta
two
was way
things.
bigger than it actually. She
You're
thinks
all-
Bayonetta's some fucking grandiose game.
Like, I'm not
And-
saying she deserves it, but if she's gonna negotiate it, I can't, I can't tell her what she feel her salary should be.
Well,
All the company can do is be like, hey, you really have your head up your ass. We're not giving you that. And she's like, okay. My issue is that for her to go and pretty much lie by omission and not tell people the whole story, because you're doing a disservice to the company that put you on, and you're doing a huge disservice to the fans that supported you. Like, they were ready to go up in arms for you, and you literally fucked that up because you wanted to sit there and lie, because you wanted to be egotistical. That's my issue. If she want to argue for $250,000, that's cool, whatever. If you want to be delusional, that's you. But that does not mean that the company has to accept it. But I'm not also going to fault her for being so goddamn delusional that she wants this type of money. She can argue whatever salary she wants. Is she gonna get it? No. That's it.
I think you're
on
being
top
too
of that,
generous,
she
sir.
broke
I really do.
She
But she
broke
broke the NDA.
NDA, and that right there did not
Well,
help
that
her.
too. Well,
It
that
didn't
too.
help
Yeah.
her credibility finding jobs other places. Because
Oh,
she
no,
could have
she's-
easily become
yeah.
the voice actor of something else. She could have easily gone into anime. And you know that, when it comes to American animes, there's only a handful that we consistently hear over and over and over again. So she could have been a new voice in that scene, as something more fresh. But who's exactly going to trust her on that now?
Oh no, she's done
Nobody.
so. Yeah, no.
So she killed her reputation herself. That's like you committed suicide.
Yeah.
Like,
she
you-
committed
like
career suicide.
career suicide. She
Paku, but I
committed
wanted them to
career
come with me.
suicide. You killed your own career, and now you can't you put yourself in this battle that you realize you're not gonna win. You realize that anybody with half a brain is realizing what you're up to and realize who you are. So what do you do instead? Instead of taking ownership and just saying, hey, maybe I misunderstood the situation, or maybe blah blah blah, putting out a tweet, sorry for wasting everybody's time on my complaint that turned out to be false. You throw it all away and say, hey, I'm just going to focus on my theater and put it behind me. That is the prime example of someone who just do not know how to hold themselves accountable. So if I was a theater person and I had any inkling of the situation she was going through before, I wouldn't want her in my play. Why would I want to work with someone who doesn't know how to hold themselves accountable?
But
But she'll
here's
just do
the
the same thing.
But here's the thing also, Wolf, like, NDAs are not solely based on voice acting and game companies. Like, they're probably through and through any platform she wishes to, like, pursue. Like, I'm pretty sure there's NDAs within plays. Like, you're acting for the play, but you can't really speak on it because you don't
I know
wanna,
that.
you know.
Yeah.
No, I know
Yeah,
you
but-
know that, but I'm just addressing that this shit is like this slander and this backfire could affect her in ways like if she wanted to pursue her acting or whatever, that she probably can no longer do that, because it's at the end of the day everything falls under the same umbrella, which is businesses, and all of them have NDAs, and she could have easily messed up all of that because of her being greedy.
Well, yeah, it's a trust thing, and she
Yeah.
just showed on a massive worldwide scale that she is not a trustworthy person. So if I hire you for a project, now I have to put in the back of my head, oh, okay, well, if I tell her, can you come in on Saturday, she might just go on Twitter and say that I'm a slave driver, and that the
Yeah.
project I'm working on is X, Y, and Z, and there goes everything.
Yeah.
And,
So-
and to add insult to injury, Platinum Games could sue her for whatchamacallit, for
Breaking that contract.
Yeah.
But not even that. What's the terminology
Defamation
when
of
Slander.
character?
yeah,
Well,
defamation of
slander.
character. Yeah.
I doubt they
Listen.
will. It's probably not worth it.
It's pretty,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm just gonna sum it up for those that's listening, or who's ever watching don't really understand. She dumb. That's it.
But okay, so before we wrap it up, there's one question that got me thinking this whole debacle, I guess. where she was like, she's the voice of Bayonetta. Bayonetta would never be the same without her. Blah blah blah. And me personally, I couldn't relate to that feeling because that we came from an age where voice acting didn't exist, where like we were the voice actor. So, just quick thoughts, like, does a voice actor like matter to you guys? Like, does it like or is like, oh, you can, I can get a new Bayonetta, I can get a new Sol, and it doesn't matter. Like, I'm here for the content, I'm not here for the voice actor. Cause
I was going to get to that,
It,
but we got sidetracked about her and her
Yeah.
rights.
no,
I'm-
that's good.
I'm gonna get my answer out real quick because mine is the most complex. It all depends, right?
yeah.
I am A-okay with playing a video game where they're constantly changing voice actors it throughout the franchise, even if it's the same characters normally. But like there are few voice actors or few people in the voice acting industry whose voices I just love on certain characters. Like
Herbert.
Huh? Kyle Herbert, right? He's the voice actor for Gohan in Dragon Ball Z, but he's also Ryu. I love the tone that he takes for both characters, right? So for me, even if Street Fighter 6 came out with a different Ryu voice actor, it's not going to stop me from buying Street Fighter 6. But the cherry on top is that they kept the same character, the same person since Street Fighter 4. He's been Ryu's persona ever since. And he's also been Gohan voice actor since Dragon Ball Z Buu Saga when the cartoon was hand drawn, not like, super.
That's super.
And right, like even now in the latest Dragon Ball Z movie, Superheroes, he still reprised his role as Gohan. So voice actors like him, Laura Bailey,
Yep.
the one who played Kane in Final Fantasy IV remake. Oh my God, what is his name? He also plays Gaara in Naruto. Like those voice actors I love to hear, but doesn't mean that just because they are part of one video game and then part 2 comes out, they're no longer there or their voice, the character voice has changed. It's not going to stop me from enjoying the game any more than I would intend to. For me, voice acting is a cherry on top.
Okay.
Yeah, my ideology with that kind of falls under Wolf's statement. Like for me, I would love for the characters that I do have, such as Laura Bailey, who plays Chun-Li, and you're referring to Liam O'Brien, I believe his name is,
Mm-hmm.
for Gaara. Like
Yes, I am.
they have very distinct voices, and me, I guess I'm a creature of habit and consistency. So when new iterations of a game comes out, I'm expecting for said character to be voiced by said person. However, it doesn't make or break the game for me. I would, as Wolf said, it's icing on the cake for me as well. But it's like also when and I'm kind of pivoting off to, like, let's say, for example, Batman animated series with Joker being voiced by Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy as Batman, Bruce Wayne. It was really hard for me to get used to the new versions of Batman and Joker because they've been voice acting these characters for quite some time, and the same is said for the Street Fighter characters because the Street Fighter games are usually like spaced out for like quite a few years and so on. So it's kind of hard for me to kind of adjust to their voices. But the thing is also, let's say the game continues or whatever, Street Fighter goes on, and I'm continuously playing up until I'm about, let's say, 50s, 60s or whatever. Laura Bailey might not want to play Chun-Li anymore. She might want to pursue a different role. Maybe she wants to retire because she's probably a bit older than us or whatever. You're not gonna get the same voice actor. You're not gonna have the same voice actor forever. And I personally feel that it doesn't take away from the game. It's just a slight adjustment for me personally. But if I do have them, it's like even better, So yeah.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't care.
I knew he was gonna say that. I knew it.
There you
That's
go.
perfectly fine.
Eloquent viewpoint.
That's perfectly fine.
Unless it's like a narrative-driven game, which I don't really play too often. Like Last of Us, for example, Troy Baker plays Joel, which I think he did a fantastic. I think all the people who,
Troy
voice
Baker
actor
is a
for
really
that game.
good voice actor.
I think they all did a great job, and I can't see those characters being played by other people. But at the same time, that game and games like it are very narrative-driven. Or Nolan North as like Drake, right? Like
Drake,
that's
yeah,
like
he's another
that's
one.
a one-to-one. It's like hard for me to see anybody else do it, but that doesn't translate to other genres. Like an action game, like if they change Dante's voice actor, or if they change Dante from Devil May Cry, or if they change like the voice actors for like Resident Evil characters, it's like as long as they hit a certain, if it's close enough, it's good enough, right? Like the voice actor, obviously it's a different guy for the merchant in the Resident Evil 4 remake, right? He's trying to emulate the original actor, but it's not exactly the same, but it's close enough. So I'm like, I'll get over it, right? So for me, it's like it doesn't really matter to me. It's definitely not gonna like make or break whether or not I'm gonna purchase this game in most cases. So in a capsule, I don't care.
Yeah, it's just kind of the same thing. There was another YouTuber we watched where he was kind of more on the side of this matters, and I'm just definitely like it really doesn't, because what matters at the end, we are playing video games. Is this game good? So you could hire all the best actors, which is kind of what they do for movies. They hire all of these famous people, but if the movie is bad or if the game is bad, you're not going to care. I have bought this game to play the game. Like you said, if it's a narrative game, that might change. But even then, for a narrative game, I might not know who the people even are. So I'm kind of going in blind, and I'm just assuming that this is good because who knows? It could be bad, but I have nothing to base it off of. So I just accept it, and then they replace it, and then I could be like, oh, I like this guy better. But I don't really play narrative games like that for that to kind of
Also
be a thing.
Sometimes change is better, right? Of the God of War games.
Yeah,
that cast
exactly.
is
Nobody knows
totally
who
different.
the guy is.
But
Or at
that's
this
not the
point
same
now.
guy who did the
No, it's not.
original
But I'm
God of
saying
War.
that's what I'm saying. Like nobody remembers the PS2 God of War now, which I'm glad you brought that up because I almost forgot to use that as an example. Everybody, when they think of God of War's Kratos, they now only think of the new guy.
Yeah, boy.
Nobody thinks of the old PS2 guy. Now
Exactly.
he's completely erased. That's what I'm saying. Like it could be something better. Like I could have had a baseline, but that's it. It's whatever I heard first. But then somebody else comes in and then they do a better job. It's like, oh well, now you're the guy. Get that Vince McMahon push. Like, nope, this is it. This is the guy.
All right, so I'll just give my last one and we'll wrap it up from here. Yeah, for me, it's not make or break. Much like Wolf, there are certain voice actors in anime and video games that, to me, are synonymous with the character, and if they don't reprise their role, I'm like, that's kind of where it begins and ends for me. I think I'm the best voice actor because when I played a lot of RPGs, I voiced all the characters, so I'll always shoot.
In your mind.
Hey, ain't no one listening to me voice my character, so I'm the best. But
I will pay you. I will pay you 4,000.
You should ask for more money.
Yeah, then I'll probably never hear from my. So, but it doesn't matter to me. I do have my favorites. People would rather see. I like Leon. His voice has changed. Leon from Resident Evil. His voice has changed, but as long as he's not coming in with a squeaky high voice like fucking the nerds with glasses, and he
Like
kind of
Dagon?
sound. Yeah, I'm trying not to put like yeah, main characters from certain movies. Look it up. If he's not looking like that, if he sounds like kind of how we would expect Leon aging over the years to sound, I'm cool. But I grew up fucking reading text on my own, so voice actors just they don't make or break a game for me. Sorry. But there you go. That's the story, folks.
Man,
Buy Bayonetta, don't.
What a clusterfuck. A part of me wants
Better
to
buy
buy
Bayonetta.
A part of me wants to buy it just to kind of stick it to her, because I was probably gonna buy it anyway because I did pre-order it, and I have money. It's already paid for, so it's like, and I thought about, I was like, maybe I'll wait, but now it's like, you know what, I'm gonna buy it.
Here you go, platinum $160 bill.
So
yeah, I don't care much about sticking it to her. I think she's getting her just desserts. I just want to play the game to see if it's good.
Listen,
I'm
if I
pretty
can,
sure
if I can
it's
add
going
a
to.
little salt to
Add
the
extra
wound
salt.
while
Make it
also
worse.
supporting, a solid game, because I think it's gonna be a solid game,
I
and
mean,
also
it's
supporting
Ken's out there.
also supporting a good developer, because I think Platinum makes great games, generally
Yeah,
speaking.
that's true.
Then that's
And
a
it's-
win across the board.
It's on the Switch. More
Yeah,
power
well-
to Nintendo. Like,
Sure,
there you go.
whatever,
That
man.
another reason to own the console.
Damn,
It's-
Sir, that was a different podcast. I don't know what you mean.
that's probably going to be another sting because a lot of people are gonna be walking around with their Switch just, and she's looking like.
What are you
Damn,
playing?
what is
know.
this kid playing? Bayonetta 3, bitch.
I really love the voice actor. Oh my god, they changed her.
She's so
She
much
sounds
better.
so much better.
Just keep pouring that salt. And she did this to herself, bro.
No,
Like,
she
Yeah,
did.
absolutely
did it to
did.
herself.
Absolutely.
So I have
Absolutely.
no sympathy for anything that
Yeah.
comes up after, but
Agreed.
whatever. It is
Agreed.
what it is. So
Hopefully, there's a redemption arc.
No, you don't deserve
but-
it.
I'm just saying. I mean,
Nah, you intentionally lied and tried to affect who knows how many people's livelihood if that
Oh
game
no.
bombed.
I get that. I get that. I'm not saying like back in voice acting. Absolutely not. But I'm saying like hopefully she can,
yeah,
bounce
she could
back
pick up a
and still
job
make a
in,
living,
in the maintenance field.
Mhm.
Maybe she could clean some toilets, do some real work, and then she'll really value that 4,000 a session she was getting. Yeah, I
Cool,
agree with
there
you.
you go.
Let her get that arc. That's where my money is. Anyway, with that being said, and of course, that's no offense to anybody who works in the maintenance field. I've worked in the maintenance field. It is real work, and it's hard. It is honest work, and that is the best kind of work,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Until you go into a woman's bathroom and then you wish she was doing something else.
All right, wrapping up. So, thank you guys for a great conversation. Thank you, Gunnar, for breaking it down for us. For those who didn't know, I'll raise my
No
hand.
problem.
For those listening, if you've made it this far, thank you very much for your viewership. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the whole situation. If you're for or against, how she went about this whole voice acting thing. Let us know if you're going to pick up Bayonetta 3. I'm more inclined to pick up the game now, honestly. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed the conversation, a dislike if you didn't. Subscribe for more content. We do podcasts every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. We also do 2-minute reviews and long form video game content, like just playing playthroughs or whatever. We also have social media, so we have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also run a Discord. The links will be in the description down below. Mr. Esoteric streams on the main channel, Logical Gamers TV. He streams every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, so check him out there. Give him a follow. And if you like, you can follow me on Twitch as well. I stream once every full moon or so. Follow me to know when I go live to play any random retro game. So, thank you guys again. Have a good night. We'll catch you next one.
Bye.
Play
Peace.
Bayonetta.